Welcome back to Trading 360. I'm Nicole Petalidis, live on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Time for the big three. 3 stocks, 3 charts, 3 trades. Ben Lichtenstein will take us through the charts. Here to take us through the trades, Alan Nuckman's with us, Chief Market Strategist, BullseyeOption.com. Good morning to you both. Alan, how are you feeling today? I know you watch a lot of charts and technicals. Anything screaming out to you before we get to the specific names?
I'm feeling great, and I'm feeling like Ben at some point is going to have to apologize for not appreciating the ability to identify charts that haven't taken off yet. He comes from the school of he wants a momentum moving stock, and the market has been in a big momentum move. And then now this week, people are complaining that we saw rotation, but that's what we've been waiting for. So it can't be bad both ways. We've got a lot of positives in this market for sure.
All right. I'm not sure you'll get an apology because he's been right about a lot of things too, but we'll have to see. Let's get to APA Corp. Why is this one on your mind, Alan?
Well, again, it's about risk reward, and that's what this is all about right now. And risk reward is a rubber band, as we just saw with the Russell, and we just saw with the Dow now leading the way when they had been the laggard. So that's what happens in these markets and in everything bull market. So this particular stock's got a PE of 7. I'm a big energy bull, especially at these levels. I think that's going to be the next sector that it provides the catalyst for the market. And this is a stock that's been trading between 30 and 35. Making a bottom base is what I look for. You also have bullish divergence in the fact made new lows but not new highs, implied volatility, sign of a sentiment shift. And you're also seeing smart money building positions. It's 30% off its recent highs. And it's 80% off the all-time highs. So there's a lot of positives here. I'm looking at an October 30 call. Again, that's the support base. October 30 call, it's trading for about $4. It's $3 in the money. And it's going to benefit from just a modest move in this underlying stock. And I'm looking for crude to make that breakout by 85 and get that market moving.
Understood. Okay, so he's seeing some sort of breakout that could happen here, bottoming. Let's see what Ben says about the charts.
Leaving the apology for a later date, maybe one day on the future show, Alan. Alan
7
Nuckman's
o'clock on Friday. 7 o'clock on Friday, I'll be there.
The only guy who can spin an 80% move off an all-time high is something bullish, right? Let's talk about what has been bullish with this stock, because I can see where Alan's coming from on the short to more intermediate time frame. Longer term, though, still a lot of headwinds for Apache. Let's take a look. Shares of APA. We're just going to begin with a short-term chart. I've got a 5-minute candle look at price activity from Friday of last week, down around below that $30 level, all the way up and through. Now, that was a key area that we were able to get up above, and hey, simply put, no rejection as of yet. Take a look here. You've got areas of consolidation, just what I look for, right? 29.50. The market paused at 31.50. We broke out to the upside. Sideways consolidation yesterday around 32, and then look, actually, as we speak, we are in a vertical phase to the upside. So on a 5-minute candle chart, we're trending higher, value's moving higher, and we're actually seeking value higher. This is exactly what the bulls want to see next, is just a new area consolidation to form to kind of just complete this pattern, right? The staircase-type pattern that forms in many instances, sometimes more easily identifiable than others. In this instance, it was pretty clear on the 5. Now, Alan talked about a bottoming pattern. That's what I start to see when I looked at this hourly candle chart, because we were in a bit of a downtrend. That's pretty clear coming off those April highs, and then look what started to happen. Again, up and through 30, you'll see, as I noted, hey, that's not what the bears wanted to see, because we always talk about when you're forming these areas of value at lower and lower levels, you're trending down. We were bouncing around 28, and we're referencing 30 because the bears want to see a new area of value form at a lower level in this trend environment to the downside. But again, we reversed it, took out the key area that was established on the way down. So everything above that, if you've been short this thing, you're just kind of hoping and wishing and praying and not really focusing on the technicals here. Now, I did mention the headwinds that the longer-term bulls face here, and that is because we're in a downtrend, right? Off that spring 2008 level, up around 150, down to pandemic lows around 5, currently in a balance forming around 30. Now, 30 is significant. Again, it's a key area. It's that middle of this range we've been in for, 8, 9 years. So it's pivotal. Again, above, you could favor longs, I guess one could argue, but still a lot of ground to cover before you can call this a longer-term reversal, which I think Alan kind of suggested it was. I think, again, we're just sort of building momentum or testing a key area of a range that's easily identifiable and very, very mature.
Yeah, you know, it's up 11% in 5 days, so certainly the momentum is there.
For sure.
You know, in college I took macro and microeconomics. I took a lot of business. I didn't take hoping, wishing, and praying. Was that a class?
It's not a trading strategy. It's not a trading strategy either. So that's one thing we always learn.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use Ben's words: test and reject. And that was a powerful bottom that they tested that bottom and they had to bounce back. So it's also a probability, and that's odds. And there's a heavy probability that this option will remain in the money, and that's the way we trade.
All right. Next up, we're going to talk about Monster Beverage. And this one, when you look over like the 20 years, it's always been such a great one to watch. But in the meantime, today it's at 51.40. What levels are you watching, Alan?
Well, Monster is a momentum stock. Like, it's a monster of a monster momentum. So you can see this stock is up 25%, like you said, 25,000% in the last 20 years or so. So it's taken a pause after making highs here, I think, in March or April. It's about 15% off those highs. So in a momentum market, you want to take these opportunities to take another swing and look to see how it's set up. We've been between 50 and 60 now, essentially for a year. Move up to the 55 level. The midpoint of that range should send it to that range top at 60. So the way I'm looking to play it is a September option. Now, this is less time than I typically buy, but I'm buying a deep in the money option. I'm buying a 45 call that has a delta of 85. So it's really going to act like the stock. So a minor move will produce big gains in this. And if it gets back to the 60 level, this option gains 100%. So it's an in the money option. It's got an incredible, pattern here. And I like the fact that it's set up after being up 25,000% over the last years.
Yeah, look, it had an incredible move. I will say, I believe this one is down for 1 year. Let me just double check I'm on the right chart still. Yeah, Monster is down about 10% over 1 year. So let's take a look, Ben, at the charts, please.
Yeah, well, Nicole, you know it pains me to fully agree with Alan, so I'm only going to half participate in this in terms of we could be on to something is basically the way I'll leave it. We're starting to try and establish a bit of a bottoming pattern. You can see that on the 1 hour candle chart. We have come off recent lows. Let's dive into a more intermediate look first and foremost, and then we'll get into the bigger picture as always. Mentioned we just came off a low. That was back in the middle of June around 47. So we're trying to get something going to the upside. I feel like we looked at this one on the show recently. I don't know if Alan or one of the other guests brought it up, but when I pulled my records, my charts, I had these drawings. And so the last time we looked at it, we were actually balancing around 52, breaking out to the downside. We were talking about a vertical move. And then again, let's just update this chart because we did establish a bit of a range there around this $49 level. And again, similar to our last instance, while we're balancing around 49, what are we doing? Referencing 52 because the bears expect you to continue. Trend's your friend, right? Continuation more likely than change, but it looks like the bulls are trying to change things around here a little bit. We're getting back up into that key area, but still not above 52. And not only not above 52, but take a look at this. I want to show you something here. So get above 52, you really could build some momentum. Speaking of momentum, this is important because now if we've established a lower extreme here, again, through 55, you really open up a door for a retest of 61. So that downtrend of the short term is still intact. Again, I'm only going to half agree with Alan here, but the more midterm now, we're looking at a daily, definitely supportive of some potential upside here if we can get above those key levels just mentioned on the hourly. And then one more step back. Again, really supportive of the bullish narrative here. Again, it's got to start first and foremost with that 60-minute candle chart. We need to see some momentum up and through this 52, 55 level, but we're in a well-defined trend up off that 08 low. That was around $2, if you remember, briefly above 61 earlier this year. Coming off a test, again, a key test of a lower extreme of range, which we always say, right? In an uptrend, that's where the bulls are going to find opportunity. Tests of lower extreme that fail or breakouts out of a range in a more initiative type, a more aggressive type pattern. But this is a key area, something to watch here right now, especially if we build momentum through 55.
All right. Final thoughts on this one, Alan, and then we'll get to Xpev.
Well, I'm hearing exactly what I want to hear. If we break above 55, the middle of this range, we're going to 60. And if that happens, this option gains 100%. So it's about the math. We do have a double bottom at 47.5 that is incredible chart pattern to look at. And we also have the leverage buying and the bullish divergence. So all the positives are here with the limited risk option to drink up on Monster.
All right. Next up, we've heard a lot about Rivian lately and Tesla lately. Xpeng's on your radar. I mean, over 1 year, it's down about 44%. It's at 848 right now, down 1.5% today. Alan, what do you think here?
Well, it's a stock that has also been bottoming out. It's been trading sideways between 7.5 and 10 for 2024 anyways. A breakout of the range targets 1250. And this is a stock that's 85% off its 2021 top. So it's got a lot of upside potential and some potential here to get some of those shorts scrambling. And you can see that again in the money flow. You're seeing leverage long accumulation, and you're seeing that bullish divergence in the fact new lows, but not new highs and implied volatility. So the shorts are running out of strength. I'm looking at a January option now because it's a low dollar stock. I can buy more time. I can buy a $6 call. And again, that low is just above that. $6 calls trading here for what, 3? And it's $2.50 in the money, 6 months of time, and a move to 12, and this option gains 100%.
All right. Final thoughts here, Ben, on these technicals.
Yeah, shorts running out of strength, I would argue, does not necessarily mean that buyers are going to come in. Ultimately, it might more lend itself to something more rotational and sideways and a little bit of consolidation, which could favor Allen's trade, but still also kind of support and fall under this idea that we're in a longer-term downtrend. I'll show you what I mean when we get into that bigger picture, really broad-based chart here. But just starting off with a 5-minute candle, there is some momentum to the upside here as well, which again is somewhat counter trend on this longer term objective. But here you can see 2 areas that my eye was drawn to. And even if you wanted to, this is one of those instances where you could get a little bit more granular. Look, we've got another area that's sort of formed within this high conviction move up. The market paused briefly in between 750 and currently balancing around 870. So those that are looking to participate in this trend to the upside again are basically looking to buy lower extremes of this most recent strength here, holding above 750. Short-term opportunity here to participate in what could be, again, just sort of this drift higher, as I mentioned, within this bigger picture, longer term trend to the downside. Because again, just because we have a lack of presence of sellers, I think if anything does sort of just favor sideways consolidation without a real catalyst to bring in those new buyers. And that's what we've seen for some time here now, going all the way back to the beginning of this year. We've been balancing around this $8 level without conviction, no man's land, right? Very limited in terms of ability to break out, follow through one way or the other, simply put, random as we talk about. That's what the horizontal phase is. It's kind of like the meeting of the minds of the buyers and the sellers coming together. There's not really one dominant participant versus this type of price activity where clearly, I mean, the sellers were just driving the market here. And in fact, another good example where we could get out our magnifying glass and kind of identify this phase or this transition from horizontal to vertical, and watch and repeat played out here on the way down into the beginning of this year. One more step back, though. Look at this. You're going to see another similar situation on a longer-term chart here. Again, daily chart, but just look. Random price activity around 13. We're holding below 40. I mean, this is a stock that's been in a consolidation phase for a while right now and not really necessarily indicating that, again, it's transitioned into anything initiative to the upside, but maybe a little less sell pressure, as Alan said, could lend itself to kind of a two-sided trade here. Nicole.
All right, thank you for that. And listen, gentlemen, if there's going to be apologies or some sort of ratings grabber, make sure you do it here on Trading 360, okay? I want to witness it, too. Alan Nuckman and Ben Lichtenstein, great to see you both always for the Big Three. Do appreciate it. Alan Nuckman of BullseyeOption.com and our own Ben Lichtenstein always does a great job.